Sensors detect incoming missiles. Your AT-1196 Steel Talons combat helicopter has the onboard computer and the firepower to meet the challenge. But can you? This is Steel Talons, a combat flight simulator developed by Panoramic and published by Left Field Productions, released in 1993. And it's was originally a arcade game, 3D arcade game, released by Atari Games in 91, ported to the Genesis, the Lynx, the ST, the Falcon, the SNES, there was a Jaguar port, and like everything that was ever ported to the Jaguar was never released. The arcade version has a joystick, an analog collective lever on the left side that controls altitude, an analog with 2 buttons and rudder pedals. The backs of the seat had a speaker which would thump when the player took enemy fire. The arcade version had a button called Real Heli Mode, which would make flying much more difficult as you could drift, but it allowed much more freedom of movement and could be an advantage during multiplayer games. That's it. There's no other information for any of the versions, no reception information. That is pretty much the entire article. So what can I tell you about it? Well, it looks kind of good. I mean, for a Super Nintendo game in '93, this looks pretty good, I think. It reminds me a lot of some of those early 3D CD-ROM games that we would have back in the Windows 95 days. Plays kind of slow. Sounds good. I think the sounds were great. Not super difficult, but not super easy. At least a little bit I played. I mean, I wouldn't say it's terrible, but I wouldn't say it's particularly great. GameFAQs here called it tough and gave it a 2.5 out of 5. The second lowest rated sim game for the Super Nintendo. Let's just see. Warp Speed was the lowest. I don't know much about that. The Sequest DSV made the list. So did Wing Commander. Really? Wow. Bizarre. Pilot Wings was on the list. Yeah, I don't know. GameFAQs rankings are starting to sound a little like Rotten Tomatoes rankings to me. It's less about how good it is and more about how popular it is. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's terrible.